Hey YouTube, welcome back to Love for Crypto. I'm sure you'll all be happy to see me in a ye old van hitting the motorways again. Halfway through my recovery since my tendon snapped off my arm. It's probably the best way of putting it. Forgot what the medical term is for it. I think it was a pectoris major something. Anyway, nonetheless, back on the road. I'm on light duty, not full time yet, but I'll be getting there on my way home. Got a nice little job to run in Mansfield, but Ripple XRP, a lot of stuff's been going on. It's been hard for me to keep up to date. Obviously, I've been back at work, not being able to get onto Twitter and other sources that I use to accumulate my data and information. But it's been a few things. Cory Johnson, the chief marketing strategist position, has now been revoked from Ripple, meaning Cory Johnson has found his exit to the door. He's done a fantastic job, Cory, whilst being at Ripple. In fact, whilst on that case, I've actually got a YouTube link saved in my phone for when they showed the non-believers and trying to explain to them what Ripple is. Here's a 15-minute of Cory Johnson stood up in the Singapore FinTech Festival in what my opinion is the greatest 15-minute pitch for Ripple. He's done a great job at Ripple. It'd be very interesting to see why exactly his role has been withdrawn from Ripple. Is it that the promotion of XRP, to understand the differences between Ripple and XRP? You know, was that his job to educate Wall Street, the masses, regulators? His job may well be complete. On the other hand, it could be something else. Maybe he's been slip-a-tongue for non-disclosure agreements, but we'll never know until we hear it from the piper's mouth himself. And whether that's the case, I'm not too sure. So obviously, there's the talk with Cory Johnson. What's my opinion on it? I don't really hold an opinion. It's not in the slightest changed my output for Ripple. Cory Johnson is just one man. He's only served a brief 1 year. If it was Joe Katz, Brad Garlinghouse, I'd maybe be a little bit more pessimistic about the revelations, but it's not the case. And for me, it doesn't matter. You look around the business that Ripple's building, the integrations that have been happening throughout the world. You've obviously got the bidding war for Earthport from Visa and MasterCard, which I do believe Visa have won today. I've seen a post on Twitter from Cryptotag, which is giving me that impression that Visa have actually obtained Earthport. And we all know Earthport goes as far back as 2014 with deep partnerships with Ripple and integrations with the software. And for the, I'm not too sure what the best word to say, but for the likes of Visa and MasterCard, who have been using existing rails back and forward, they've been the industry leaders. The disruptiveness of the new technology, of distributed ledger technology, cannot be ignored. And I believe both Visa and MasterCard realise the importance of this technology moving forwards, leaving the old payment rails, the old way that money's moved in the past. And rather than starting from scratch, we all know Visa's got its B2B blockchain initiative. How far they've gone with that, who knows? Maybe they've done what Swift had done and thought they could just roll into it, and maybe realise it's not as simple and straightforward to implement as it, as some people may suggest. So it's interesting. So Visa have acquired Earthport. That's a great sign for blockchain in general. We know how deep Earthport are with Ripple. It just goes to say, in regards to the likes of Temenos and the SAP, CGI, ACI, it's always the same software providers. I keep reiterating extensively and repetitively to the audience, is because these are the type of companies that have been really initiative moving forwards. And it's interesting to see that we did have the bidding war for Visa and MasterCard. It was quite phenomenal to see. And it just goes to show that these giants, if you want to call it that, corporate giants, are looking to invest in these infrastructures. We've seen another one with Barclays and Ripple recently. It was a much smaller figure of 1.6 million, but nonetheless, it is investment into the DLT space. And progressively moving forwards, you know, we see a ripple effect. You know, I hate to say it as corny as it is, but it is. And we're going to see it. You know, there's a lot of strength in the XRP community recently. We've had Francesca Crappela, as we like to call her, talking utter nonsense and bullshit about Nostro and Vostro. You know, she's bigging up her banking experience, and you know, I've had a little look over it, and she likes to argue that it's not a full resume that's on a LinkedIn profile. But you know, looking at it from my point of perspective, you'd want to have your best key selling points on your fucking resume. So if she's not got them on there, what does that say? You know, 17 years banking experience. But then when you look at the likes of Chris Larson, and you know, she's basically trying to contradict the statements of Chris Larson. And there's a lot more executives that I could keep mentioning, that could, you know, but I forgot, I'm not going to lie, from the top. Marcus Treacher, there we go, Marcus Treacher. It's hard to remember all these personnel, corporations, businesses, integration partners. It's just never ending. And that's the beauty of Ripple, and obviously the native currency XRP. There's a lot of stuff planned for it. You're going to hear a load of bullshit saying that Nostro Vostro accounts, you know, the locked up liquidity, tied up capital. Listen, it depends. It's up to you who you want to listen to. If you want to listen to a failed banker with, you know, for the experience she claims to have, is not really, you know, it's not really that appealing to myself personally. You know, she's left banking, she's gone into media to be a writer for Forbes, and now she wants to be a musician, which I've had a little look at, and she does quite appalling, to be honest with you. So, you know, listen, you're going to hear a lot of statements from this Frances, whatever her name is. You know what I'm on about. It's all attacks at Ripple. That's all I can say. All of these are attacks at Ripple. She might seem that she's smart, intelligent, and she might come across as very intellectual. So do I, if I want to. But it don't make me an expert in finance. I'm not an expert. I'm an enthusiast. You know, everybody who watches these videos, I'm a refrigeration engineer. But believe me, I can sound like a banker if I want to. I can use the extensive research within my own ability to express disconcerns for statements made by failing publicists. You know, that's a great example for you. So yeah, you know, I wouldn't call it FUD no more. You know, there's nothing that can knock my confidence and belief of where I believe this technology is going. Now, don't get me wrong, if it was to come out blatantly from a reliable source, you know, even from Ripple themselves saying it failed, that's when you want to start worrying, but not when a Forbes journalist slash songwriter slash failed banker is trying to express disconcerns about XRP and its utility and its revolutionary potential to change banking. Because, you know, she's obviously getting backhanders from somewhere, or she's that naive and irresponsible that she can't look past the 1970s banking infrastructure of probably what she's got a degree in. You know, she's got a degree in a historic banking sector, which we all believe will be changing into the future. It's like being a professional typist. You know, we don't see it no more. We've got computers, we can erase stuff. Listen, it's out with the old, in with the new, and unfortunately she falls into that category herself. And you know, it goes to say, it just goes to say, if you read her evidence, Susie from Esoteric Trading did an excellent overall summary of Nostro Vostro reconciliation and banking and in regards of obviously capital requirements, locked up capital, and she absolutely wiped the fucking floor with it. You know, Susie is an absolutely phenomenal part of this community. The way she come out and literally shredded that article to pieces, it left me with a smile on my face. And you know, if Susie was there in front of me, I'd give her a big sloppy kiss on the cheeks. Whether she wanted it or not, I would have done it. So, you know, there's a couple of little talking points. Listen, I'm sorry for not being as active on the channel. I've had to go back into work. You know, I'm in a workshop environment at the moment until I'm fully signed off to be fully back for work. So I'm on an amended duties at the moment, so I can't get my phone out. I'm struggling to get my head into the research. You know, I'm nowhere near as active on the Telegram as I should be. But I just thought I'd drop by, give you a little ye old vancast, if you want to call it that, because, you know, I know a lot of people was disappointed when I did my intro because you enjoy these type of visuals, you know, me driving down the motorways in England. I was going to say the motorway then, but, you know, I'd rather not give away my location, although I'm sure people who are local to me will 100% know where I am. So yeah, I just thought I'd give a little, you know, little update. You know, there's a lot of news with Cory Johnson obviously leaving Ripple. Listen, don't look at it as a bad thing. You know, if I know Ripple left in their statement saying due to a change of market dynamics. Listen, who knows? You know, it could have been an NDA leakage. It could just be that his purpose of explaining XRP, educating Wall Street, other institutions and regulatory bodies. Not that I don't think they need educating, but, you know, it really could have been useful for his networking. Or maybe he didn't really live up to the expectation of what was his expectations. Listen, we don't know. Don't look at it as FUD. You know, he's only been serving for a year. Nonetheless, from my opinion, personally, he did a great job in simplifying exactly what Ripple and XRP was. So, yeah, you know, listen, don't listen to the Cory FUD. There's a lot of stuff with Miguel Fiaz, however you pronounce his name, potentially have left the company. Listen, until it's been confirmed from a reliable source or from the source itself, i.e. Ripple or Miguel Fiaz, you know, it doesn't really exist at the moment. You've got a lot of, you know, manipulation on your social medias, for example, Twitter. Been seeing a lot of Twitter bots recently coming out openly speaking about Ripple in a negative manner, trying to scare the everyday ordinary folk. But I'd like to believe you've been following this channel for as long as we've been operating for. You should be used to these tactics, the manipulations, the false accusations, the complete bullshit articles, and you should know the truth, and you should be able to separate the facts between the bullshit. And that's all we've ever set out to do on this channel, is to try and guide, to try and educate, to try and enable the audience to visualize exactly the direction we go in, to understand it's not just something that's going to happen overnight. You know, we're talking about the long run. You know, if you look at the incision point from the iPhone to now, over the past 10 years, it's dramatically changed, and so will payments, and so will banking. As Temenos have come out themselves saying the future of banking will be a very different picture as what we see today, because we have now got the potential of instant settlement, which is the reduction of risk throughout the board in equities, in forex, in derivative products. It's an evolution / revolution of extreme magnitude that will allow financial inclusion, alongside many great benefits. So that's excellent. We're in February. We're pushing ever so closer to March. And this is the launch of the SBIVC open order book trading. They've had OTC at the moment, you know, withdrawals and deposits, but we've not been issued the order books. For example, if you look at Binance, there'll be millions of orders for XRP, varying in value from 30 cents maybe up to $3 to $100. And there'll be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of individual orders being placed, creating a market. And that's what we're waiting for with SBIVC. It's coming on board in March. We're not too long away from that. And what it's going to enable is it's going to open the market to 23 million customers for SBI. I'm presuming they'll have some sort of custodial service, and regulatory wise, they should be given the green light to go. I believe if SBI have come out and made the statement that they're going live, I believe they probably had the nudge from the regulators to say that they are able to do so. And I'm really looking forward to it. You know, you've heard Yoshi Katal coming out on numerous occasions saying his exchange will be #1 in the blink of an eye, and maybe that could be because of the institutional participation and because of the broad customer base. Let's not forget, 23 million customers is more than the population of Australia, of a small country, and in Japan as well. You know, we always know that they're the leaders of innovation in technology, you know, in computer science and all sorts of other capabilities technological wise. But I'm really looking forward to it. This isn't me to say it's going to go bam overnight, but honest to God, from what Yoshi's saying, I've never met a more bullish Japanese person ever. than Yoshi Kitao, who's got a great dealing with Ripple. They've got a holding of the company itself, and obviously when the order books go live, the exchange is fully operational, ready to go. We've already had all the pre-sign-ups and all this bollocks. You know, this should be the incision point. This should be where we should see a great deal of volume being traded through XRP. Not to forget, we've had obviously the recent partnership with R3 and Ripple, and for those who don't know, SBI Ripple Asia is a consistency of 60% equity to SBI and 40% to Ripple. But also we've also got R3, SBI R3 Asia, or something along the same lines as what I've explained with Ripple. I can't really think of the terminology, but yeah, again, it's SBI 60%, and then it's R3 40%. And recently during the I think it could have been the Q4 report from SBI, Yoshi sat there and explicitly explained that the merchants of R3 and Ripple together will extensively start using XRP in a more practical and constructive way. It's going to open a lot of markets. R3 are massive. You know, they serve for banks, central banks, over 300 institutions worldwide, alongside the 200 institutions serving for Ripple. You know, you've got a combined of maybe 500 institutions. I'd probably reduce that figure because you probably get duplicates for either or Ripple. For example, you know, you could have MUFG for Ripple and for R3. But in that regards, there's a lot of good stuff to come. You know, in regards to regulations, I think Japan are nearly there. In regards to the United States of America, it might take a little less. But nonetheless, you know, it's something to look forward to. Are we going to finally see this surge that Yoshi Kitao has been expressing? We've seen his overconfidence in XRP and the way that he's promoting it vigorously and flamboyantly around the world. Could this be the pinnacle point? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to it, and so should you. And I'll catch you in the next one.